All right, let's jump right in. What you're seeing on your screen, that's not just a catchy title. It's a real, tangible promise, an idea straight from the mind of the legendary Bob Proctor. We're about to unpack how you can, quite literally, turn what you make in a year into what you make every single month. I know, it sounds pretty out there, but you gotta stick with me on this one. So this is the core idea. Bob Proctor was adamant that this wasn't some fantasy. He said it's a real possibility for anyone who gets a handle on a very specific set of rules about how money works. And the key here? It's not about working 12 times harder, not at all. It's about thinking and acting in a totally different way. And look, if you think this is just some theory, check out Bob Proctor's own story. At 26 years old, he was making a measly $4,000 a year, and he was $6,000 in debt on top of that. But then, within just 1 year of putting these ideas into practice, he was pulling in $15,000 a month. Think about that jump. It completely changed his life. It wasn't that he suddenly got smarter, he just figured out the rules of the game.
So, how in the world did he do it? Well, this first part gets right to the heart of it all, your mindset. Because, before you can change what's in your bank account, you first have to change what's going on in your head.
This brings us to a really powerful idea from Napoleon Hill's classic, Think and Grow Rich. He pictured life as this great stream of power. And what's wild is, it's not luck, and it's not fate that decides where you end up. It's your thinking process that steers you into one current or the other.
And here's a perfect way to picture it. You've got two sides to that stream. All your positive emotions, your positive thoughts, they're carrying you towards wealth. And all the negative ones, they're pulling you right towards poverty. The most important thing Napoleon Hill said was this: you get to choose. You can actually choose which side of the stream you're on, just by choosing what you think about. Okay, so you've got your mindset pointing in the right direction. Fantastic. Let's move on, because that mindset is the foundation for a very practical, very real, universal law that actually determines how much money you can earn. This is what's known as Emerson's law of compensation, and it is incredibly precise. The amount of money you make is directly tied to these three things. Number one, is there a real need for the thing you do? Number two, just how good are you at doing it? And number three, how hard would it be to find someone else to replace you? But here's the secret sauce, the real key to the whole thing. You only need to focus on one of those points. Number two, your ability to do it. Why? Well, think about it. If you become an absolute master at what you do, the need for your skill becomes super obvious, right? And the difficulty in replacing you? It goes through the roof. The other 2 points just kind of fall into place on their own. Now we're getting into the nuts and bolts. According to Proctor, there are really only 3 ways that people earn money. But what's crazy is, as you're about to see, almost everybody is stuck using the absolute worst one. I mean, just look at this chart. It's kind of mind-blowing. A whopping 96% of the population uses something called Strategy M1. Just 3% use M2, and a tiny, tiny 1% use M3. But here's the thing. That 1%, they earn almost all of the money, like 96% of it. So what on earth are these strategies? Let's break it down. Strategy M1, that's trading your time for money. It's the standard 9-to-5 job, but it has a huge built-in flaw. You will always, always run out of time. M2 is investing money to make more money. It's a great strategy, but it takes a lot of capital and know-how that most people just don't have starting out. But M3 is where the wealthy live. They don't trade their time, they multiply their time. Okay. So let's zoom in on this secret of the 1%. What does it even mean to multiply your time? This is it. This is the strategy that can take a yearly income and turn it into a monthly one. The whole idea boils down to setting up multiple sources of income, or MSI for short. This is how the rich multiply their time. They create systems and assets that bring in money whether they're actively working or not. Think of an author who gets royalty checks for a book they wrote years ago, or an investor who gets dividends from their stocks. They did the work one time, but that income just keeps flowing. Now let's be super clear about something. MSI is not about getting 2 or 3 jobs. That's just more of that M1 strategy, trading more hours for more money. No, true MSI is about setting things up so you literally earn money while you sleep. We're talking about building an online course, or a website that earns ad revenue, or getting rent from a property. Proctor says that if you look at any wealthy person in history, every single one of them had multiple sources of income.
And that brings us to our final and maybe the most crucial part of this whole thing. Because to really grab onto these new strategies, you first got to be willing to let go of the old ones.
This quote from Alvin Toffler just nails it, doesn't it? For most of us, the idea of trading our time for money is baked into us from childhood. To really build serious wealth, you have to be willing to unlearn that entire model and then relearn a new one that's built around multiplying your time through MSI. So all of this brings the question right back to you. Now that you see the difference between trading your time and multiplying it, you're not limited by the 24 hours in a day anymore. The question stops being, how many hours can I work? And it becomes, how much do I actually want to earn?
And let's wrap up with this final thought exercise. What if you took this idea seriously? What if your current yearly income became your new monthly goal? That changes, well, everything. So the only real question left is, what's your first move going to be? What asset will you start building to create that first new source of income?